Here's the magical secret from a direct lender. I'm making this video because apparently a lot of new real estate investors don't understand how hard money lenders or private money lenders work. So in this video, I'm going to explain how to get a real estate hard money loan. Hard money loan, private money loan, pretty much very similar. There are a few differences, but very similar. My name is Zach Pasquarello. I run an investment fund that strictly does hard money loans, Zip Capital. I've been doing it for 3 years. I started in 2023. I have funded 80 real estate loans. Right now, I've got $5 million lent out on Pennsylvania real estate loans. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you behind the scenes. I'm going to give you an insider look from a direct lender. I'm not a broker. I'm a direct lender, and I do all my own underwriting. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I look for whenever I get a real estate loan application. So hopefully this helps you understand, if you're a real estate investor, how to get a hard money loan. Let me just be clear. These are not loans for properties that are turnkey. If your property doesn't need to be fixed, honestly, you should just try to go get funding from a bank. It's going to be cheaper, it's going to be slower, but it's going to be cheaper and it's a better long-term option. So these are only for properties that are in bad condition, properties that need to be fixed, properties that banks don't like to lend on. Also, if you have to close really quickly, then you might need to use a hard money lender. That's one of the big advantages. Fast, flexible funding. If you work with a hard money lender, we can close quickly. I can close in 72 hours, less than 3 days sometimes. Okay, here's the secret equation that I use to determine loan eligibility. First, you need to calculate the after rehab value. This is an art form and a science combined. This is the magical number. And it's kind of a guess, but it's a very educated guess, and we can use real data to come up with the after rehab value, sometimes abbreviated ARV. I'll use those phrases interchangeably in this video. You could maybe work with an experienced realtor. He or she might be able to help you come up with an ARV, but honestly, I think you should run your own comps, do your own research, and walk the property and look at similar houses that have sold recently. So for example, if I'm in the city and I've got a 3-bedroom row home with 2 bathrooms in this school district, and it was built in 1980 and it's 2,000 square feet. I'm going to go to the MLS or Zillow or Realtor or wherever you have your property data, and I'm going to look at houses that have sold in the past, 6, maybe 12 months with similar comps, similar specs, similar square footage, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, amenities, style of house. Is it a ranch? Is it a single family home? Is it a row home? Is it a condo? What does this look like? Is there a pool in the backyard? Is there a 3-car garage? Is it 3 stories? Is it 2 stories? Is there a finished basement? Is there a public or private septic? All of these details matter so much. So look at comparable properties, similar school districts, similar zip codes, similar city block, similar year built. Don't compare a house that was built in 2010 to a house that was built in 1920. Obviously, very different comps. So look at comparable properties. Try to find 3 to 6 houses that have sold recently that fit the similar specs of the house that you're looking to buy. And then figure out the sale price of those recent comparable properties and then average them out and then find the average sale price per square foot. And then you can use your best judgment to guess how much your house might sell for after it's all fixed up. So that's pretty much how you can come up with the after rehab value. There is no perfect answer. There's no 100% correct answer, but we can use data to make our best judgment. Now, here's the secret. Once you have your after rehab value, if it's a long-term rental versus a fix and flip, me as a direct lender, there are different terms. What's your exit strategy? You have to have a clear exit strategy. I don't want to work with you if you don't know what you're going to do with the property. Of course, if you're going to buy a property, I want you to have a clearly defined exit strategy. So there's 2 different terms for long-term rentals versus a fix and flip. Different exit strategies. If it's a long-term rental, you're going to need to do a refinance with a traditional bank or a DSCR loan in 6 to 12 months. Because of that, typically, With a long-term rental, you're only going to be able to get a 75% loan to value after the house is fixed up. Because of that, I'm only going to lend 70% of the after rehab value. And that's purchase price plus rehab. Now, if it's a fix and flip, the max loan amount that I'll give you is potentially, if you're qualified, 80%. And that's 80% of the ARV. And that's purchase plus rehab. So let me give you an example. If you've got a house that you think you could buy it for $130,000, and then it's going to need $30,000 worth of rehab. And how do you come up with that rehab number? You walk the property, you look at pictures, you have a general contractor walk the property with you. Or if you're really experienced, you probably have a very detailed spreadsheet where you can come up with your best estimate for the rehab. But either way, you're going to have to guess or estimate or calculate what is the rehab going to cost. So we've got purchase price, $130,000, rehab, $30,000. I could potentially lend on this deal $160,000 if the ARV is $200,000 or more. Now that is the absolute max that I would lend. Preferably, if it's $30,000 rehab and ARV of $200,000, I would prefer to see a purchase price of $110,000 because 80% of ARV for purchase and rehab is a very tight profit margin. So I prefer to see 70% of the ARV. But if you're experienced, if it's in a good market, if I like the home, if I like the rehab plan and the renovation budget, I could potentially lend up to 80% if it's a fix and flip, 80% of the ARV. So if it's going to be worth $200,000 after it's fixed, I could lend $160,000. Purchase plus rehab if you are a qualified borrower. But like I said, that's pretty tight. So you really want to try to find a deal that's 70% of the ARV. Purchase price plus rehab, 70% of the ARV. Now remember, when you're analyzing a deal and its profitability, you can't just look at purchase and rehab because there's more that goes into it than that. You've got to consider closing costs and holding costs, and also rehab contingency buffer to account for complications and unforeseen issues. I can't explain it. I can't emphasize that enough. Rehab contingency buffer to account for unforeseen complications and issues. You got to account for that because it never goes according to plan. There's always something that's unexpected. So that's seriously the magic formula. 70 to 80% of the ARV must equal purchase price or rehab. Okay, now let's get into some specific underwriting criteria and how to get qualified. So cash reserves. You need to have enough cash reserves to cover closing costs, which is usually 5 to 7%, and enough to cover 1/3 of rehab, because I will fund rehab, but only as a reimbursement. So if rehab's going to cost $60,000, you're going to have to front $20,000 of the rehab before I reimburse you with a rehab draw. So as an example, if you've got a $150,000 house with $60,000 of rehab, you're probably going to want to have about $30,000 of cash available. $10,000 to cover closing costs and $30,000 or $20,000 to cover rehab. So $10,000 to cover closing costs, $20,000 to cover the first part of the rehab. Don't come to me asking for a $200,000 loan if you've only got $5,000 in your bank account. It's impossible. It is impossible. It's impossible. If you're a brand new investor, it's going to be really hard to find a lender, a true hard money lender, to approve you for a loan if you only have $5,000. Now, and then the other side of it, if you're a really experienced investor and you only have $5,000 available, that's also kind of a red flag. So you can't get into this business with $0. You're going to need some money. I can potentially fund 100% of the purchase price for eligible borrowers, but there's still closing costs. There's still rehab. There's still contingencies. There's still complications and unforeseen issues. So for me as a lender, it would be very risky to lend to somebody who only has $5,000. So good general rule of thumb, 1/3 of rehab and 5 to 7% of the purchase price in cash reserves. So how do you find a good deal? One of two things. You're either going to spend time and or money to find a good deal. Profit is made on the purchase, not when you sell. What does that mean? All of the good deals, you profit on the good deals when you find them at a good purchase price. You don't make money when you sell it. Now, of course, money actually comes into your bank account when you sell, but that's not the idea. The idea here is that you got to spend time and or money up front to find a good deal. What do I mean by that? Spend money on advertising. Spend money on mailers or cold callers or Google ads or Facebook ads. Spend money to find a good deal, or spend time. Spend time doing the cold calling yourself, creating organic social media marketing yourself, driving around town, knocking on doors, trying to find properties for sale. Either way, you got to find a good deal. You can't just go to realtor.com or Zillow.com and look for a house for sale, because guess what? Everybody else is doing that. You're going to be competing with thousands of other real estate investors who have already seen all of those properties on the internet. You got to find off-market properties, and you're either going to do that by spending a ton of your own time, and or spending money to find these deals. No one cares more about your deal. There's two people, you and me. You, the buyer, and the lender. Nobody else cares about the deal as much as you and me. I promise you. I promise you. How do I know that? No, after the transaction, nobody else is involved. It's just you and me, buyer and lender. That's it. After the deal, the seller, they're off the hook. Realtor, they got their commission. Wholesaler, they got paid. They got their assignment fee at the sale. Title agent, after the transaction, they're done. Insurance agent, they got their commission. Everybody's done after the transaction. After you buy the house, everybody's done with the transaction except for you and me. Now, that's not to say that these are bad people. These are all great people. And they also care about the reputation. So of course, a realtor, a wholesaler, a title agent, they want to make sure that they do a good job. Of course, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying they're out to get you, but I'm just saying nobody else has skin in the game like you and me, like the buyer and the lender. So with that in mind, if your lender denies you funding, there's probably a good reason. So instead of getting frustrated, maybe ask why. Why did you say no? Why can't you fund this property? There's probably a good reason, and there's probably a lesson to be learned. Me, I am underwriting, I am reviewing dozens of properties every single week, multiple properties every day. I see a lot of properties. So if I am denying you funding, if I'm denying your loan, there might be a good reason. Okay, let's wrap up this video. And by the way, if you need a loan, I'm a lender. I only lend on Pennsylvania real estate investment properties. So I'm not lending to people who are trying to buy their dream home. I'm buying to investors. So if you need a loan, I'll drop my real estate loan application in the link down below. Fill that out. Or if you have any questions about how to get approved for a loan and you're in Pennsylvania, reach out to me. I would love to try to help you. Okay, underwriting documents. At a minimum, pictures of the property, scope of work for your rehab plan, LLC articles of organization, and 3 most recent bank statements showing that you have cash reserves. If you say you have $30,000 cash reserve, make sure your bank statement proves that you actually have $30,000. Don't tell me you got $30,000 and send me a bank statement with $5,000. That's a red flag. It's all about trust. We're building a relationship, you and me, the buyer and the lender. Prove to me that I can trust you. Prove to me that you're telling me the truth. Also potentially true, other potential underwriting requirements, tax returns. I know other lenders might not require tax returns, but me personally, I require to see your 2 most recent tax returns. Meeting with the lender. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's an in-person meeting. Maybe I want to come see the house. I just did that a couple weeks ago. I went to physically walk through a house before I did a loan. Financial reports. Maybe I want to see your balance sheet and your profit and loss. Or maybe you're an employee and I want to see your pay stubs. So those are potential underwriting documents, but at a minimum, pictures, detailed scope of work. I love to see a quote from a general contractor. I love to see a quote from a general contractor. If you show me that, that means that you are prepared, you know what you're doing, and you have a plan. LLC articles of organization. I really only like to lend to companies, not individuals. And then the bank statements. So at a minimum, those are the 4 things I'm going to need, and then also potentially the other things. Okay, so next steps. Let's finish this video. Next steps after you get approved. After I send you loan terms, next steps. Signed sales agreement between buyer and seller. Title agent. I need to be put in contact with your title agent because I need title commitment. So the realtor helps you get to the sales agreement, and then the title agent and the lender are the people who get you to the closing table. So realtor helps get you started and gets the sales agreement. Me and the title agent, we get you to the closing table. So put your lender in contact with your title agent. I need title commitment. I need title insurance. I need to know the title is free and clear. That way I can be confident 100% that my mortgage is a true first position mortgage. Homeowners insurance. I need to be listed as additionally insured on your homeowners insurance. I need to see the declarations page. So just as soon as you get approved for funding, send me the email address for your insurance agent and your title agent. Send me the signed sales agreement, and then that's it. We can get to the closing table within 72 hours. So usually 5 to 7 days, but it can be done in 2 or 3 days if title is already clear. So that's it for the video. If you need a real estate loan, let me know. And also, I'm also accepting investors into my fund, Zip Capital. So I'm targeting 8% up to 12% fixed returns to investors into my fund. And then I use other people's money to lend, just like I explained, to real estate investors. So if you want to borrow from Zip Capital, let me know. I'll drop my real estate loan application down below to see if you're qualified. If you want to invest into Zip Capital, I will also put my website down below. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Have a great day.